this time is I want to know your school mascot and your school colors. So after Gaynette speaks, I'm going to go around and ask you all that. So without further ado, I want to introduce Miss Gaynette Hoskins extraordinaire. She's worked with numerous social service agencies throughout the Bloomington Normal community for the last 9 years. She's trained in sexual assault, domestic violence, resource and referral, mental health, substance abuse, life, etc. She is passionate about social justice, crisis prevention, and community accessibility to resources. Gaynette currently works as a community advocate for Prairie State Legal Services, R3 program. Today, she will provide us with information about their new R3 program, the differences between traditional Prairie State Legal Services and R3, her role with Prairie State Legal Services, and how she may be able to help each of us connect our clients with Prairie State Legal Services directly. So I want to present to you, and those who know her and those who don't, you're in for a treat, Miss Gaynette Hoskins.
Hi, everyone. No pressure at all, Ms. Dorothy. Thank you. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you all having me today. This new role that I have it's amazing, and I am so grateful to be here to be able to share it with you. Today, I will also have Susan O'Neill, who is our project attorney, the R3 program. She is here as well, so she may be chiming in a little bit on some of the information that I provide. So if you all have any questions throughout, you know I talk fast. If you know me, you know I talk fast, slow me down. Any questions, you know you're always welcome to follow up. I usually get right back to you. Anything else? Okay, we ready? I don't want to take too much time. I'm going to start sharing. Wish me luck, everybody. Am I sharing it? It doesn't look like it. There it goes. Look at God. Ooh, and it's right here. Can everyone see me?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Thank you. I made a joke with Miss Michelle, like I didn't know if you all could see me, so I better not pick my nose. So let's go. So today it's going to be Susan and I presenting on Prairie State Legal Services and the R3 services. Let's get this thing going. The mission is to provide or coordinate the delivery of high quality legal services to low income individuals, families, and groups. And I really strongly believe that this is extremely important, because we also know, all of us know, how important it is for the people in the populations that we work with to have accessibility to those legal resources. We know what it looks like when they don't. So this is definitely a really great program I'm passionate about. Prairie State Legal Services offers free legal services for low-income persons experiencing domestic violence, people who live within the R3 zone, and those age 60 and over who have serious civil legal problems and need legal help to solve them. I think you all know this. Many of the people in this community or on this council has definitely been in contact with Prairie State Legal, but what we'll talk about today is that R3, like what does that really look like, because that's a little bit different in the description of services. And that R3 is short for Restore, Reinvest, and Renew Justice, Equality, and Opportunity. So this grant was provided to Prairie State. Well, they kind of sought it out and was granted this grant, and for the purposes of funding, because they wanted to fund programs in Illinois that have been harmed by violence, excessive incarceration, you know, those vulnerable populations that we try to assist with, but we are usually out of luck because the cycle keeps going on and on and on. So this grant is provided to Prairie State Legal Services to assist with minimizing the barriers of those who were impacted by that excessive incarceration and violence and stuff. It's due to help with that. And so those five program areas, I cannot talk today to save my life, are civil legal aid, economic development, reentry, violence prevention, and youth development. And the way we'll get through that process is that civil legal aid is basically being able to say, what services can we provide to you all? We know the typical Prairie State Legal Services, evictions, things like that. What else are you missing? Why aren't you seeking out these services, and how can we help you all? The economic development, being able to say, we're not just here as attorneys to assist you if you're getting an eviction or something. Is this something that we can help you with, starting a program up, or seeking out funds or grants or anything? Reentry, that's one of the things that I'm super passionate about, and that is about making sure that we don't over criminalize people who've already did what they did their time. How do we try to get that restorative type of format or model going in this community? And that is extremely important. Violence prevention, we do know the more resources that we provide, the more education we provide, the more the violence and crime within our communities decrease. So I think it's all about us being able to provide the education. And then you have youth development. This is going to look in the form of us merging with different agencies throughout the community and coming up with very creative ways to give them a voice. I don't know how we got past the fact that our kiddos need to be heard, and they have amazing ideas on how, because they kind of sit back and see everything that's going on, and then we don't allow them to talk. So they heard all this information to themselves, when it's like, I really wish we knew what we could do, and it's a kiddo in the back like, hey, I know, but we aren't listening. So it's very, very, I'm just grateful that we have the opportunity to take that time. We are intentional with taking the time to listen to the youth. The differences between those PSLS and R3 cases, I spoke a little bit about it, and I know this print on here is a little different. I always got to be different, but if it's hard to read, let me know. I'll be able to help you out with that as well. So Prairie State Legal Services, typical services is geared toward the individual, as opposed to the R3 services is more about individuals and groups. So you can have a couple people in a building that is inhabitable, or the couple people that aren't able to access programs or anything, and they can come to us as a group and we can go assist them in that capacity. Evictions are still things that we do through both PSLS and R3, driver's license reinstatement, benefit appeals, that's medical, SNAP, TANF. So if they were denied, we're going to try to do what we can to assist them with being able to get access those resources. Orders of protection for those experiencing domestic violence or sexual assault. So we have those as well. Family divorce, DCFS. Custody visitation, child support. Those are things that we work with as well. Distilling and expunging. Again, you all know I'm very passionate about this as well, if you know me. Just being able to give people hope. We know that criminal backgrounds prevent a lot of our people from accessing resources, accessing schools, sometimes accessing housing, employment, everything. It's like almost at the top with the housing barrier. So I'm really adamant about getting this information out and trying to make sure that this resource is accessible to everybody. And that is transferable through the R3 program as well. And 60 and over, abuse, financial, physical benefits, housing, wills, power of attorneys, debt relief. So if we have elders being called over excessively by just people just hounding them. They're hounding them. Hey, you owe us money. We're going to take your house. We can assist with that as well. And that is in PSLS and R3 services. What is different about R3 is not just about it being individuals or groups that we can work with. It's geared toward the community. We are now asking the community, what do you need? So we're coming to your social service agencies, making ourselves a little bit more accessible to you, asking your clients and you as the providers, how can we help? What is this? What are we missing? What trends are here that we are not aware of, that we could actually be assisting with advocating? And it's not just on a legal capacity. Do we need to just talk to them about, hey, this is disenfranchising this amount of people in your community. Can we stop doing this? So it looks a little bit different. So those measuring those trends is really going to be important. And that's not something that we typically did with the traditional PSLS services. So that is a huge difference. Also, the income requirements. Oh my gosh, we know that it's 200% below the federal guideline for typical Prairie State Legal Services. And there's some differences in programs, like our domestic violence has no income requirements, 60 and over. Those elder services don't have any program income requirements, but there are other programs that could actually, someone may not be eligible for that resource due to what they make. We have a much higher income with the R3 people, or clients, excuse me. And it's not saying that it's not an income requirement, because there is, but it's so much higher. And I'm going to say that in the form of, if it's one individual for Prairie State Legal Service income guideline, then they can probably make up to, let's say, maybe like $2,200 in a month. And we have doubled that, almost 400% for someone with the R3 program. And that R3 person can make up to like $4,500 and still be eligible for our program. I don't make that right now, so I'm thinking that it's pretty good. I think we're gonna be in a good space with being able to say that it is going to definitely make it more accessible for some of the people that really need the services. Our service areas. I know you all keep hearing me say R3 and like, what is that? What is the R3 zone? And we kind of talked about it, and it's all throughout the community. So the R3 zone, typically we would think high risk, things like that. We would think west side of Bloomington automatically. That's just going to be our biases for a lot of us. But this is not it. That R3 zone is all throughout Bloomington normal, and look sporadic places. So what I try to encourage providers to do is to not worry about whether someone will be in the R3 zone before giving us, referring them over to us. Let us kind of figure that out. Those R3 zones, like I said, they're all spread all throughout Bloomington normal. One side of the street may not be an R3 zone and the other side is. And if you know me, you know I'm all about trying to get a client to get the resources and not about Xing them out of that resources. So we will find a way to try to make sure that we can assist them, or at least refer them to someone that can. So do not worry about that. But the other side, the difference is, like we said, we have those R3 zones all throughout Bloomington normal, but regular Prairie State Legal, it can be anybody in McLean County, Livingston, or Woodford County, as long as they're within that income requirement or experiencing domestic violence or 60 or under. So that's the differences. As you all know, like we have funding, many of us kind of work with funding codes throughout our programs, and this funding will assist us with doing exactly what we're doing, being able to advocate for the people in those R3 zones. And it's totally different than what is LSC, what Prairie State Legal predominantly is funded through. And then again, like we said, those services differ drastically with the fact that we can do groups, and we don't have anything that we just won't do. It's like, besides criminal. So we're not gonna dive into trying to assist community members with criminal trials and things like that. But there are so many things civilly that people are experiencing that we are not knowledgeable of, and we will have to take the opportunity to listen to that. I'm going fast, so let me know if you all need me to stop. I know we don't have a lot of time. So when I say types of legal services, legal advice, that's professional advice provided by a lawyer or attorney with the R3. That'll be Susan O'Neill, who is in this group today. With other people, it varies. So just like we have the R3 group, there is a elder abuse group, there is a group of attorneys, and that'll assist with housing and evictions and things like that. So that varies. So again, like I said, if you don't know if they're eligible, just refer them to me. So they can just give legal advice. That means they're not going into court. Legal education, a way to give knowledge to the people. This is what I'm really pushing, because a lot of people do not understand their rights. They don't understand the support sources that they have available to them. And just being able to give them a small drop of education can help them go a whole lot longer and a lot further, and they can assist someone else with their process. We know usually if we learn something, we definitely teach it, and once we teach it, we learn it a little bit better. So we're more inclined to teach it to someone else. So boom, legal education is a really great resource. And then there's the representation type. So that's going into the court proceedings, appeals. So that's housing. If they get denied, hey, we want to be in there making sure that they're okay. Like, how can we assist them? If this isn't something that they're eligible for, what can we do to help them be eligible for it moving forward? Guided or represented by a licensed legal professional, attorney, advocate, or a barrister. So that's representation. That's going into the courtroom, going into appeals, going into any type of mediations or anything like that. We do that. And then it's the telephone counseling. This is not to minimize this, but I'm more so like, I like for us to kind of get to know the client, establish the rapport, and then provide them with guidance. But the telephone counselors, for those who can't or don't have the time, the telephone counselors are available. And they provide immediate legal advice and or refer cases to the local office for additional assistance. So they try to remedy it right then and there if they can. That's usually by directing you, go to the 6th floor, fill out this document, do this or do that. But I think in my experience with working with clients, and a lot of you all working with clients, we can tell them until we're blue in the face what to do. That does not mean that they have the ability to do it or they're in crisis mode, and that would be the last thing on their mind. So I tell people, if you have absolutely no alternative, use the telephone counseling, but I'm definitely about trying to help people in person. So the R3 staffing roles, besides me being mouthy and professionally begging. So what I would do is be trained in resolving problems and creating strategies for disputes, community resources, and assessing common issues in the community. I'm the one that's supposed to listen, kind of take this back to not just you all, but also to the people within my agency to say, hey, this is the work that we need to do. We will work closely with the project attorneys on cases to assist with minimizing client barriers. So if a client is like, hey, I'm in the process of an eviction, I'm behind in rent, I'm going to be seeking out rental assistance, being able to sit down with them and do a budget, like what's going on, do we need to do employment, do we need to seal this background? I'm going to help with the overarching problems while the project attorney will work with the presenting problem. We will provide presentations just like this, mouthy, and we'll advocate for client accessibility. I have quite a few of you on this call. I have come through your phone personally for a client, and I thank you for everything that you do, but just know I will be back. That is my job. That is what I enjoy doing, and that's what I appreciate being able to do, because we, unfortunately, like we know, clients have a much greater chance of being able to access a resource if they are, if it's another provider advocating for them, which makes absolutely no sense to me, but it is something that we do here in this community. Until we get past that, I'm only talking to community providers or whatever, that sometimes that idea that some of us, not all of us, have, it will be very important for us to do that advocacy. And then also to be able to show clients how to do that for themselves as well. And those project attorneys will provide a range of legal education and direct legal services. They will definitely speak with clients. I'm trying to set appointments as soon as I meet with the client and see that they're eligible, trying to set them up within the next week. And they will be responsible for building working relationships with community partners, local jails, and other community settings. Many of you got a letter from me once we came into our positions, like in June, and you'll be seeing more of Susan and I in the community. Just so you are always welcome to kind of step out and reach out if you need. So referrals. I don't care how you do it, bat signals, whatever you need to do to get that client to me, please do what you need to do. Warm handoffs, you can call me personally. Say, hey, Gaynette, this is what's going on. I have a client, they need this. I will most likely tell you to have the client contact me, but I'm just grateful for for you all being able to tell me so I can see what their pronouns are, things like that, things that I may be able to learn from you that'll make me establishing that rapport with their client a lot easier is definitely recommended. You all can email me. I'm really good with getting back to emails. Just let me know, hey, got a client calling. That's fine. And I really usually don't care whether a client tells me that they were referred by someone else. I try to make sure that I give them the best quality service and try as prompt as I possibly can. But you all can email me. You can have them to call me. or the attorney directly. You can have me come into your office if you like, and you can direct the clients to call Susan or myself directly. No walk-ins, unfortunately, at this moment. I should have put that there. We're not doing any walk-ins because it could get very, very risky, and we're still really worried about COVID. We are having in-person appointments, but for the most part, we can kind of dictate how that goes. So no walk-ins, but they can definitely call me. And now we are at the end. Questions. I know I moved fast, y'all, so let me know if you need me, okay? Any questions? Okay, great. No
Great
questions?
job, Jeanette. Great job. It was very concise and clear.
Oh, I doubt that. They probably like, she talked so fast, I don't know what happened, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
That was a wealth of information, Gaynette. That was awesome. That was amazing.
Oh, no problem. And like I said, you all know you can call me, email me. I have interacted with quite a few of you all. You all just get a hold of me. And like I said, I come into offices. I will sit down with your client wherever they need to be, the library, if they want to sit in a park, wherever they need to be, I will be, just to make sure that they're most comfortable in their setting. So do not hesitate to reach out to us. If you have any additional questions from things that I did not cover, just call me, okay? Thank you.
Well, Gaynette, thank you for that presentation. You covered everything, all bases. You didn't leave a stone unturned. So I think everybody.
I do have a request, if that's okay. The programs that you talked about, is there a place where we can see, you know, like you listed different programs, like that we can see what they cover? Do you have a website, something like that?
So are you thinking more like what programs, like the services that we provide or the cases that we take? So at this moment, that's a really good question. At this moment, with R3 being so new, we don't have anything set specifically for R3. I am on top of it. Susan is on top of it. We are begging to get this stuff, but as you know, it's legal. So they want to make sure every I is dotted and every T is crossed. As soon as, when I mean as soon as they drop it into my inbox, I will be sending it out to you all. Now, what you can't until then is look through Prairie State Legal Services. It's still the same thing. They just don't have any information about R3, okay? So if you are just thinking about traditional Prairie State Legal Services, I can send you all that link. But until we get the okay for our R3 component on there, there's not really much else I can do. But great question.
Thank you.
You should just think of any civil case you should call. You know, that's all. I mean, that's right now what, if it's a civil case and not a criminal case, and just have the person call.
The person or group.
Or the provider if you want to make the referral that way. But I wouldn't worry too much about what it is, because we're pretty open. That's why this is a community-led project and not what we're telling the community will do.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You were great. Thank you. All right. Well.